and welcome to my channel. My name is Mia. Today's video is going to be December 2015 wrap up, and yes, this year is a wrap up. We are done with 2015. We're starting 2016 now. It is crazy, but it's happening. And although I thought I was going to do horrible on the month of December, I actually did quite well. I managed to read a good amount of books even though I had very little time, so I do feel very satisfied with my readings for this month. Without any further ado, let's get into this wrap up. The first book I'm going to be showing you is a book that I didn't get to finish, unfortunately, in this month. I just didn't have much time on the last days of the month, so I didn't get to finish it, but I'm really enjoying it so far, and that is Sojourn by Salvatore. This is the third book on the Dark Elf trilogy, a trilogy that I've been enjoying fully, and I can't wait to continue on. There's other books aside from this one. This is the last one of the first trilogy, but I believe there's two more trilogies after this trilogy in regards to this world and characters, and I'm just very excited to continue this story. It's a great fantasy series. I've already talked about this quite a bit, but it's just full of adventure. It's full of friendship and internal struggles with who you are and trying to find yourself. It's a great story. It follows Drizzt the Orden, who is a dark elf who have a reputation of being evil creatures. They are supposed to be one of the worst creatures on the underworld, and Drizzt is different. He believes in goodness in people's hearts, and he wants to do the right thing, and he has values, which is something that the other dark elves or most of the other dark elves don't have. So he goes on this journey trying to discover who he is and following his heart. It's a great story. I will let you know what my total thoughts on this are once I'm done reading it. The next book I read on the month of December was not the best read in the month. That was The Christmas Thief, and this is by Mary Higgins Clark and her daughter Carol Higgins Clark, and it was just extremely predictable. It was supposed to be a suspense book, and I didn't feel the suspense on the least. It was a fast read, but other than that, it was not the best read in my opinion. The next book I read was amazing, fantastic, and that was Crown of Midnight, and this is the second book of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, and boy is this series fantastic. It's just getting better and better with every book. I can't wait to read the other two books and catch up to the series. It is absolutely fantastic. The character building is wonderful. They're developing in such a beautiful way, and they're getting more and more complex, and oh my gosh, you feel so much for these characters. You fall in love with them, you suffer with them, you feel joy with them. It's just fantastic. The plot is getting more and more intricate, and it's just a phenomenal story. This world is building up on each book. I love the way Sarah J. Maas writes because I feel it's such an enjoyable read, and she makes you just connect with the characters and envision this world. I think it's fantastic. I give this book 5 stars. The next book is Ignite Me, and this is the third and final book of the Shatter Me trilogy. Another fantastic read. It was a very enjoyable story. I loved all the books. This book gave me a good ending. I'm satisfied with the ending. I'm satisfied with the way things evolved throughout the series and the way things came to a conclusion in this book. There was a lot of action, a lot of changes. I really liked the characters in the story. I had some favorites, some not so favorite, but I liked all of the characters. I felt that Tahereh Mafi did a great job building up these characters and giving them all these layers and showing you that not everything is as it seems. The next book I read is The Insomniac Circus by Amorak Huey, and this is a very short poem book and is all about the circus and the acts and the members of the circus, and it's very dark and it's very sad, and I love it. It was a great read. I gave it 4 stars. I'll read to you the very first poem, which is a very short one, just so you get an idea of the writing, but I think it was very enjoyable. The first poem is called The Ticket Taker Gives and Gives and No One Seems to Notice. So easy to make metaphors of every torn stub, the rifle of a shredded edge against your thumb, the gift of admittance. This is what you offer. In return, you are invisible. The world rushes past your stool, hungry for something more magnificent. Gold-paved redemption, spotlight on the impossible. A moment when a body's limits no longer hold. Such danger, such promise, such soaring. The next book, I didn't read the whole book in this month. I just finished about the 50 to 60 last pages of the book in this month. I started reading it last month. I have a book review for this book, so I won't talk about it too much. I'll link all the related book reviews or videos down below for you in case you would like to check them out, where I would talk a little bit more in depth about these books. But this is The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. I thought it was a beautiful story. I thought the plot of the story was very, very nice. It was an emotional book in my opinion. It was the kind of book that gives you that frustrated knot in your throat, like you just want to cry and you get that raspy feeling in your throat but tears don't actually fall. That's the feeling that I had throughout this story. I enjoyed it fully. I gave this book 5 stars. Another book that I enjoyed quite a lot, but in a completely different way, was Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. This book was just an easy, fast, enjoyable, sweet romance kind of story. The book follows a girl who is allergic to everything. So she lives for the most part in isolation. It's very difficult for her to have contact with other people. And one day, on a neighboring house, a family moves in and there's this boy and everything changes. It was a great story. I gave this book 4 stars. Another book I read, Illuminae, and this is by Amy Kaufman and Kristoff. This book was very interesting, at least the way it was written, the format of it was very interesting. The plot of the story had a lot of possibilities to be fantastic. It had a lot of interesting factors. I was not a huge fan of certain things in the book. For example, the crossing off all the curse words. I thought that took from the story. The way that the characters communicated amongst themselves, it just sounded too young and in a way kind of annoying. Like they repeated certain phrases and it was a bit frustrating. But anyways, I have a book review on this book as well, so I will link that down below for you guys to check out if you're interested to know more of my thoughts about the book. Overall, I gave it 4 stars because I really did like the way the book was written. The format was very interesting. There's a huge mixture of formats. There are voice recordings, there are emails, there are announcements. I don't know, there's so much going on in the book that the book itself is very interesting. The content could have been better in my opinion. And the last read of December was a comic book, and it was Penny Arcade Attack of the Bacon Robots, and it's volume 1. Now this comic is basically a collection of online comic strips. Some of them were really funny. It's definitely an adult content comic. A lot of the strips were really funny. However, I gave this 3 stars because it is very much focused on video games from the 90s to the 2000s, and I am just not very familiarized with it. I just did not get the references. Every reference went just like woof all over my head, and it made it difficult to enjoy it because I didn't know what they were talking about. For somebody who is very much into video games and have been into video games for the last 20 years or so, would definitely enjoy this. And this comic is by Jerry Holkins and Mike Krahulik. There you have it. These were the reads for December 2015. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, don't forget to give me the thumbs up. If you would like to see more videos from me, go ahead and subscribe. I try to upload videos every other day, and I'll see you very soon in another one. Bye!